Well, eating in 2019 can be a very confusing experience, from what trendy diet is the healthiest to keeping up with what foods help save the planet. Visiting the grocery store has never been so overwhelming.
Luckily for us, our next guest is here to help separate good sense from nonsense. So please welcome the author of A Grain of Salt, Joe Schwarcz.
So there are so many opinions about health out there. It's hard to decipher what to believe, hard to break everything down. Your new book promises to do just that, break down the pseudoscience of food. So tell us, when it comes to this, who should we listen to, or what should we be listening to?
Well, our mantra really is listen to the scientists who know what they're talking about. And this comes down to the evaluation of the scientific literature, the peer-reviewed literature in proper journals, which has been gone over by experts in the field. That's who we should listen to. Now, I admit that the public finds this somewhat confusing because the scientific world swings like a pendulum. And something that was good one day is not so good the next day. One day we're told eggs are okay, the next day we're told eggs cause heart attacks. But still, in science, we have evidence, which is not the same that can be said for the self-appointed nutritional gurus who ply the internet, with no scientific background. These are the food babes of the world, the Gwyneth Paltrows, the Tom Bradys, believe it or not, the medical mediums who have all kinds of advice for us on how to make us live forever, but they don't have any evidence.
So let's go into some of the things that are out there, and you tell us what the evidence says. A lot of people are doing intermittent fasting. That means that, they don't eat for an extended amount of time, and they think that it can lead to weight loss, that it's a good way to lose weight. What do you think?
Yes, perhaps surprisingly, we do have scientific research on fasting. And there are several ways to do this. There's a so-called 5-2 fast, where for 5 days you eat normally about 2,000 calories a day, then for 2 days a week you restrict yourself to only 500 calories. Or you don't eat from 6 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning. Or you select an 8-hour period during the day when you will eat, never anything else. Each of these regimens actually has been shown in some scientific studies to cut down the number of calories that you're consuming.
Right.
Because if you're only eating for 8 hours and you're not snacking 24 hours a day, as many people tend to do, you will consume fewer calories.
Right.
And, there's the question of whether or not there's any sort of metabolic difference, the way the body handles food if you restrict it to a certain time, or is it just fewer calories? I think it's the fewer calories. But whatever works for you, works. If you can lose weight by eating only for 8 hours during the day, fine.
Not so bad. Okay, well, I feel like this year the keto diet was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. And I mean, if you don't know what it is, it's like no bread, no sugar, no potatoes, basically no starches and no fun, I think. On the other hand, you do have a lot of butter and high-fat cheese, those types of things. So is the keto diet actually healthy in the long run?
Well, if it makes you live longer, the question is, what for if there's no pleasure to be had from the food, right?
Yeah.
Because, I always maintained that food, of course, is a very large part of life. Unfortunately, for many people, too large a part of life. But we don't need to evaluate every morsel we put into our mouth as whether it's good for us or not. Now, of course, when people are overweight, they will try to do anything. And the keto diet is one that actually works over the short term. When you are removing carbohydrates from the diet, you're actually going to force the body to burn its fat deposits, so you will lose weight. The question is this a healthy way to go about it? And we don't have any long-term answer for that because so far nobody has done years and years of keto diet and evaluated it. Now, I must say that on the short term, I've been kind of surprised that cholesterol levels don't go up the way that I would have expected on the keto diet, because it's high in fat, of course. I think it is because you're also losing weight, which counters the increase in cholesterol. I wish that this were a diet that were, the answer to all of our weight problems. I don't think it is, because what scientific evidence shows us that after about a year, it really doesn't matter what diet you were on, you tend to put the weight back.
Tend to go back to the way you were eating before.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And then there are pills that they are now selling, which are supposed to go hand in hand with the keto diet, because during ketosis, you produce chemicals called acetone and beta-hydroxybutyrate, and now they're putting these into pill form, suggesting that this is going to enhance ketosis. There's no scientific evidence for that at all. But of course, marketers don't need scientific evidence.
Okay, so speaking of marketing, it's a really big deal right now as people are trying to look for more plant-based diets to eat meatless burgers. And this is hitting the market huge in all kinds of ways. And a lot of these are made with the basis of pea protein. So let's compare and contrast the meatless burgers versus red meat. What's healthier?
Right. Well, we've always had vegetarian burgers, but they never purported to taste like meat. The new ones do. And indeed, pea protein, which is extracted from peas, from green peas, does have sort of a texture that resembles meat. And with a number of additives in there, and there are many, many additives in there, this is actually a highly processed product. It does resemble meat. I've tasted it, and it goes down quite nicely, especially when you put all the condiments on top, which is just what you're tasting. But in terms of nutrition, the truth is there's not a whole lot of difference between that and meat. The salt content of the veggie burger is actually higher than meat. The fat content is roughly the same. So I don't think one can really promote this for health reasons, although one can promote it for the health of the planet. Because certainly raising animals is not a very environmentally friendly business. There's a lot of land that has to be used to grow the crops that animals need. It is very wasteful of water. Animals require a great deal of water. We have all the transportation costs associated with the animals, and that's spewing out carbon dioxide. And there are very, very compelling studies to show that if indeed we did switch more to a plant-based diet, it would be better for the environment. So I think that's one reason to do it. But as far as the burgers go, I don't think anyone should eat meat burgers every day. I don't think anyone should eat the plant burger every day either. Variety is the spice of life.
Football star Tom Brady, he has said that he swears by this alkaline diet.
Right.
He's never eaten, if people don't know what that is, it's like he never eats strawberries or nightshades or tomatoes or
eggplant, yeah.
Coffee, those types of things. He is a great athlete, like, let's be honest. So
oh, yeah.
Is there some connection?
I'm not going to argue with that, and I enjoy watching Tom play football. I don't enjoy watching him talk about nutrition.
Yeah.
This is not his area.
Yeah.
You know, as Alexander Pope said, a little learning is a dangerous thing. And it really is. I mean, he knows a few bits about nutrition, but he puts them together and the sum is all wrong. Now, this is not to say that his diet is wrong. He has a mostly plant-based diet, vegetarian diet, a lot of whole grains, low fat, low salt. But he says that this is an alkaline diet. This is nonsense. There's no benefit to be had from alkalinity. So he's basically having a good diet for all the wrong reasons. The notion is that somehow the body's acidity level determines whether or not you're going to be healthy or not. This is totally baseless nonsense. And the contention is that you eat alkaline foods that's going to neutralize the acidity of the stomach. Well, our body is in homeostasis. The body tries to maintain its standards. And our blood is at a certain pH, 7.35. It doesn't get altered no matter what you shovel into your mouth. And these days, of course, there's so much advertising about alkaline diets and alkaline water, suggesting that this is what is going to, keep you healthy and make you live forever. It's just not going to happen. The whole alkaline water concept is just a lot of bunk. Indeed, most of the bottled water concept is a lot of bunk. I mean, you see all kinds of things now. You see hydrogenated water. You see gluten-free water. You see non-GMO water. And there are all kinds of celebrities jumping on this business. Like there are models who now are saying that their shape and their health is because of the alkaline diet, like Miranda Kerr, who's a well-known model. I suspect she's a well-known model. But anyway, she has jumped on this, on this bandwagon, which is being drawn by Gwyneth Paltrow on Tom Brady and the medical medium, who's a guy who gets his answers from the spirit world and tells everyone to drink celery juice, and this is going to be the answer to all. So, and these people are looking at alkaline numbers. I think they should be instead looking at their mental IQs.
Very nice, thank you so much for being here, Joe. Okay, studio audience, you're going to get a head start on unpacking the pseudoscience of food because you are all going home with your